विरुद्धनगर चेन्नई के श्री एस लक्ष्मी नारायणन से पीएम श्री योजना के कार्यान्वयन को लेकर उनके अनुभवों और उनके स्कूल में अपनाई जा रही बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस के बारे में सुनेंगे।
Sri Lakshmi Narayanan joined in KVS as postgraduate teacher biology 1995, as principal in KVS 2010, served at Guwahati region and currently working in Chennai region at PM SHRI KVVNR, Virudhunagar since 2019. Now he will explain how the PM SHRI scheme is being implemented on ground level in KENDRIYA, Virudhunagar, Chennai region.
Honorable Shri Sanjay Kumar ji, Secretary, Department of School Education and Literacy. Honorable Shri Vipin Kumar sir, Additional Secretary DOACL. Respected Shri Pardeshi Siddhartha Komal, Secretary Government of Chandigarh. Shri Gaurav Goyal, CEO, Samagra, and Shri Ashok Pandey ji, Advisor James. Honorable Commissioner Madam Nidhi Pandey, KVS, and other eminent dignitaries of the dais, and my dear colleagues, I stand before you to share my experience with regard to the implementation of PM SHRI at PM SHRI KENDRIYA VIDYALAYA Virudhunagar. As we all know that most of the PM SHRI school, my colleague principals are here and teachers are here, that after the implementation of PM SHRI, that an year went, and we all know that a remarkable change is everyone could witness in the academics and also the school functionality. Ma'am, next. My school, the PM SHRI KENDRIYA VIDYALAYA Virudhunagar, a small profile I am giving you, that this is one Kendriya Vidyalaya that is recognized as PM SHRI KENDRIYA Vidyalaya in the entire Virudhunagar district, and the district is the birthplace of Shri K. Kamaraj, former CM of Tamil Nadu, who had a great visionary about providing education to the rural children, made free accessibility to the education to all rural children. And also he was the pioneer to introduce a noon meal scheme in our country for all the school going children. And my school has got an enrollment of less than 1,000 with almost equal number of boys and girls, wherein the parents whose wards are studying in the Vidyalaya, they are self-employed and they have a agricultural base, farming base, and most of them are workers in cracker factories, and many are also workers in textile industries. So it's almost a rural background, and this coming of the PM SHRI scheme was a blessing to these small two-section schools, where most of the visions and the schemes and strategies which were enlisted in NEP 2020, we could realize it. At least we could start it. So let me just quickly go through the visible changes which took a kick start in the PM SHRI KENDRIYA Vidyalayas. The first one is, I'll just give you a brief outline, that NEP 2020 was introduced, and our organization always take initiative to immediately implement the NEP 2020 without any further instructions from the ministries or any other department. So we started off, almost all the teachers were exposed to this NEP 2020, and the moment after 2 years this PM SHRI scheme came into, and we are all told to apply for it. 1 year over after the implementation of this PM SHRI scheme, and now we are here to just see the remarkable changes that one can witness in the school ambience and in the school functionality. Basically, this National Education Policy 2020 has got 5 pillars, as our Ashok sir said, and building upon that with 6 pillars, the PM SHRI scheme were designed in order to make a school completing and covering up all the areas which are required to make an ordinary school into an exemplar school. The aim of implementing the PM SHRI school is to make an exemplar school, and 6 pillars were actually being designed in that scheme. The curriculum, pedagogy and assessments is the first pillar, then access infrastructure second, human resource and school leadership third, and inclusive practices and gender equality is the fourth pillar, and management, monitoring and governance as fifth pillar, and the last one is the beneficiary satisfaction. So with these six pillars, the exemplar making mission was envisioned by the PM SHRI scheme, I should say rather. Next one. So the markable change or the visible changes that I could witness in the school as an academic supervisor and educational administrator are these areas. There are activities which were performed from the beginning as a customary activities in Kendriya Vidyalayas, but these activities took a kick start after the implementation of PM SHRI scheme, and in fact the last year we were put into the PM SHRI network, and the funds have been granted, and I could see as an administrator a remarkable change, the children learning process and also the teachers approach inside the classroom and the way they assess the children, a remarkable changes that I could witness. These are all some of the areas that the visible changes after the implementation of PM SHRI which could be seen. Thinking about a skill lab in the school level was a dream, was a mirage earlier. Though it was very much highlighted in the NEP 2020, having a lab which is specifically mentioned for developing the skills among the students was actually a kind of dream, and that initiative we started last year, that almost the construction agency were given, and this year the lab will be functioning and fully full, which is going to be benefited for the children to develop their skills. Then the pedagogical change, there were few pedagogies which were mentioned in the NEP 2020. One of the pedagogy was toy and game based pedagogy, where children will learn and the learning will be a joyful learning. So that toy based pedagogy we could create, and we could make a toy library available in our Vidyalaya. Okay, that is one of the big achievement. I should say that previously we used to have a library of books, and now we have a library of toys at different age appropriate toys, wherein the children can get into and they can handle the toys and play, and by the time they learn. See, the games can be of a jigsaw puzzle, the games can be of making the blocks or shaping into a kind of structure. Many kind of materials were available, so we created a toy library, and the learning inside the classroom became a competency oriented, okay, wherein the more emphasis was given to toy based, not only toy based but also activity based learning. We had activity based learning earlier before this implementation of PM SHRI scheme, but now the activity based learning becomes a mandatory one each time inside the class when the teacher goes. Right? Without TLM, the teacher cannot go inside the class. The situation has come into, and previously the teachers were handling the handmade TLMs, whatever the two-dimensional TLMs like charts and flashcards. These were all the common TLMs the teachers used to make, but now the TLMs becomes into three-dimensional TLMs, and children enjoy using and handling the three-dimensional TLMs. We are in fact taking the children out for getting an experiential learning environment, and also the process. Exposure visit and field trips are two important things in that is covered under PM SHRI scheme. And the PM SHRI scheme also provides the continuous professional development of teachers, enhancing the teachers to undergo in-house and outside training consistently to update their pedagogical practices and also their approach towards assessing the children. Okay, and then the mathematics and science learning normally through experimentation or project-based learning it was, and now the mathematics kit and the science kit were provided to the children, which in fact helping the children to go ahead. And students assessment, there is a change, and the change in the school ambience, overall school ambience is also the next slide. So I'll just go through fastly the slides with a few comments. The digital infrastructure initiatives, after the implementation of PM SHRI, the library became digitalized. We were provided with computers and softwares where the children can make use of the library books, and at the time of reading, if they want to refer something, The facilities were provided inside the library, and the library is digitalized under the PM SHRI scheme. And in fact, the Vidyalaya became into a completely digitalized Vidyalaya. 95% of the classrooms were digitalized. We had earlier 24 classrooms, 10 classrooms we were provided with e-classrooms. But once this is implemented, even our organization supported us to make the entire classrooms digitalized, provided with interactive panels. Next. So mathematics and science kits, in fact, which are helping the children to learn by taking a hands-on experience while handling the toys, they learn. While handling the kits, they learn. And that is wonderful. When you go into the maths lab or science lab or into any of the laboratories or in the libraries, it's wonderful to watch the children involvement in the learning, which was not visible earlier. Now you can see those kind of things. Next. 21st century skills development is the main agenda of the NEP 2020 policy, wherein the children should be equipped with skills other than the academics. So that was the main thing, the communication, collaboration, working together as a team, taking up the role of a leader in a team. All these kind of skills are required for making the children to face the future in the future years. So those kind of skills to develop, we do have the teaching pedagogy got changed, wherein the teacher adapts other than one way or teacher-centered teaching. The teacher adapts a collaborative teaching method or pedagogy, and also brainstorming, role play. Different pedagogies were used inside the classroom, which is very good to see. Previously, I used to go to the classroom observation to see only a one-way teaching. And now, after 2 years, a year back and previous year, I could see teacher try to make the students to learn in group. So that collaboration, when the academic target is achieved, along with that, the other 21st century skills are also taken care by the teachers, and that is because of the CPD, where the teachers are continuously exposed to learn other means and other methods of teaching. Next. So the children enjoy going outside, experiential learning. See, exposure visit is something to take the children to an industry or a neighboring big institute, higher institute, where they get exposed to the available various work jobs or job roles, and also the various kinds of self-employment possibilities. And field trips are taken normally to the nearby farms or nearby eco-environment places, where children can involve themselves in how the environment need to be protected, all kind of these things. So that provides the reflective sessions of this. It is not the question of previously we were taking them to the field trip, previously we were taking them to the tour. Okay, the thing is that now, because of the implementation of PMC, we have a reflective session. Once the things are completed, the reflective session enhances their communication, and also that helps them to develop the communicating skills and working together as producing a group assignment, all that. Next. So assessment, there is a difference. Because you know very well, when the teacher is taking up the strategy of teaching into a collaborative teaching strategy, then naturally the assessment cannot be just like, a monotonous assessment what we followed earlier. It should be innovative. It should be testing their understanding skills, like creative and critical thinking analysis को test करने के लिए कुछ अलग तरीके से question सोचना पड़ेगा teacher को, so that I could see when the teachers submit their periodic test question papers, monthly test question papers, when you go through it, you can find this teachers का जो सोच है वो थोड़ा सा बदलते जा रहा है, and that is very, very positive sign of very first year of PMC implementation. If we could see such a positive sign, definitely in the years to come we will do wonders. Okay, like all other PMC schools. Next. General ambience change. Of course, the school, there is a word called as aesthetic and safety. Okay, the ambience should be aesthetic as well as should provide a safe environment. So the safety is being provided by almost all measures that we are taking care of in the school building. And the ambience, okay, the children should come to the school loving and leave the school happy. So if that is the case, then the building need to be an inviting one. Okay, so the general ambience, there is a big change. I have shown also the picture of the Vidyalaya which appeared in 2019, the last two pictures. Okay, and now it is made into a multicolor. Okay, so wherein it is just an inviting one for the children to enter in and happily leave out. Next. A vocational lab is proposed and it is got approved also. Hope so this year we will be getting the lab in physically available mode, and our children will be benefited because of this lab. Next. This is some toy library that we had set up in the school, wherein the toys were used by the children during the learning process. So this is one important thing that we could achieve in the last year under the PM SHRI scheme, that the creation of a toy library in almost all the PM SHRI schools of PM SHRI school Kendriya Vidyalayas, and I hope so other PM SHRI schools existing here, the principals here also will agree that they took initiative to procure items wherein children can play and learn. Okay, so that has been a kind of thing, change. Next. So CBL is the normal process which is becoming now. You cannot nowadays to go and see a primary classroom where a teacher-centered teaching is taking place. Now almost in all the primary section, especially in the FLN foundational stage and the next stages, you find teachers go with a kind of TLM into the class with a kind of activity pre-planned in their mind, and they go and achieve the targeted learning outcome. So the TLO is achieved by means of making the children working in group. So the collaborative skills are targeted from the foundational stage onwards. So that will, if it is nurtured in the secondary and other things that we are going to keep continuously nurturing, that children will be definitely with absolute development of 21st century skills in future. Okay, the next. Self-defense training for the children is one of the scheme under the PM SHRI that has been successfully implemented, and the children were growing with confidence and the ability to face the other gender and also could reply confidently. That is what I could see in the self-defense training aspect of PM SHRI. Next. So exposure visit to the neighboring agriculture institute where children were practically see the mushroom culture, how it is being cultured and the ways and means of culturing, and few children started culturing the same at their home also. Okay, that is a kind of carrying over the learning which took place in the field back to their home was also one of the wonderful things to observe. And when they come and show the photograph that they have got the same mushroom form like kind of miniature at their home. So it is good to see that they carry over the learning to their home. Next. So CPD for teachers is a constant one and a continuous one which is happening in Kendriya Vidyalayas. Of course, every week we have 1 hour continuous professional development training, in-house training in the Vidyalaya level, updating the teachers about the varied pedagogies and also the recent advancements whichever is taking place in the field of education. So that is one change that I can point out here. Apart from what I mentioned, there are other activities which I didn't mention it there in the slide, but I would like to just go through because the time limit is 10 minutes. Drip irrigation and vermicompost, of course, in all the school it is present. We have developed this too. Expert talk on sustainable development had been given. Assessment and career counseling was done last year. Provision for additional napkin vending machines and incinerator for the girl students were provided. Provision for the lab articles and sports equipment. Experts talk on gender equity and counseling sessions were given consistently, and community involvement in school and academic development is also a great achievement where the stakeholders participate in the school development and through the Vidyanjali portal. That is a wonderful, another remarkable change and achievement that I could witness in my school on part of all the other PM SHRI schools also will agree to that. And on behalf of PM SHRI Kendriya Vidyalayya Virudhunagar, a big gratitude from the core of my heart as a PM SHRI beneficiary on behalf of all the stakeholders of my school, Virudhunagar. I convey a very big thanks to the PM SHRI scheme wherein the maximum number of rural students are benefited and they are in continuous benefit. They are going to be in continuous benefit in the future years also. Thank you so much. Thanks to all. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for sharing these insightful experiences on best practices in your school. और वक्ताओं को अभी तक हमने सुना, अब समय है आप सभी को भी बोलने का, आप सभी को अपने विचार या अनुभव या प्रश्न साझा करने का। तो मैं सभी पैनलिस्टों और प्रतिभागियों से आग्रहपूर्वक इस संवादात्मक चर्चा में भाग लेने के लिए आमंत्रित करता हूं। प्रतिभागियों से आग्रह है कि पीएम श्री स्कूल और इस योजना से जुड़े अपने विचार, अनुभव या प्रश्न अवश्य साझा करें।
मेरा एक छोटा सा प्रश्न